So in this video we're going to start making queries a little bit more complicated with the and the or, with a bit of logic really. So let's hop back over to our spreadsheet, and let's assume that I wanted to find whether the name or the password contained an E. So if I go through that mentally and hide them, does the name contain an E and the password contain an E? Then I want to keep that one because it does. Python Geek and let me in. I want to keep this one because I've got E starting the elite and I've got an E in there for blimey, so I want to keep that one. That one would only have an E in Zebedee, but there's no E there, so I would lose that one. This record has got an E there in the loner, but no E in Larry, so I want to lose that one. And this one has got no E's whatsoever, so I'm going to lose that one. So this time I'm going to be left with just Python Geek, let me in, elite and blimey. So I'm going to write the query to find that information. Again, I'm going to be using this, meaning where, who cares where it is, it must contain an E. But I'm going to use and in between the two, and now take a look at the password, and that must be like, again, no, I could change that. I can ask if it's got ends in or something at the start. I don't need to do the E's, but that was just a simple thing for me to look at. So if I run that, there we go, I've got Python Geek and elite and blimey because they all contain E's, nothing else. Now if I chose to do the OR version of that one, let's take a look at what that would mean. So, whoops, done it again. If I unhide these, I was going to do the OR. So this one contains an E, or that one contains an E, or both. That's what OR means. So I would return that record, I would return that record, they both. I would actually return Zebedee as well because that one's got E's in, or, well, that one hasn't got E's. So by logical OR, that one would be returned. That one would be returned as well because the loner has got an E in, and that one wouldn't be returned. So basically that is the only one that I wouldn't get. So I'd get all of these because they have an E in somewhere. That is using the OR. So let's go back and change the AND for an OR, run that query, and there we go, I've got my 4 records. The only one missing is the swordfish. So that is using ANDs and ORs. Now before we had problems because we didn't have 2 passwords that were the same, but now I can use the AND just in one field because I'm now looking at the characters in a name. So if I go back to my spreadsheet and again unhide, just going to operate on one field now. So if I take a look at this and just return anything that has an E in it. Okay, so I would need let me in, blimey, not that one, and not that one. There's no E's in that password. Oops. Okay, so they're the 3 things at the moment I'd return. But I also want to know if they had an M in. So if they've got an E and an M, I'm only going to return let me in and blimey and not the loner. So I can write that query. So select everything from users where password is like an E, or password is like an M. So it contains an E and it contains an M. So if I run that query, I'm going to expect whatever contains an E and an M. Okay, so I should not return Larry the Loner, although it contains an E, it doesn't contain an M. And there we go. So we've now used an AND in a single field where we couldn't do before because the passwords were different, and obviously in the names were unique, so we'd never have two, so we couldn't use the AND. So that is looking at all the commands that we have seen. We do have some more items that we need to look at that are not stated in the specification but will appear in the exam. Okay, so I will deal with that in the next lesson or video.